Very good morning everyone. I am Dr.Lidia, Assistant Professor of Social Work, Bishop Weber College. The topic which I am going to cover today is psychoanalytical theory. So when we talk about psychoanalytical theory, this theory was proposed by Sigmund Freud. And before going deep inside this topic, let's see something about Sigmund Freud. So Sigmund Freud, he was born on the year 1856 and he is an Austrian neurologist, and he became famous only in the year 1896. He was officially recognized, and in 1900 he released a book called Interpretation of Dreams, and he was called the father of modern psychology. Of course, high psychology is a subject which is, we hear about this from the past, but Sigmund Freud was identified as father of modern psychology mainly because he is the pioneer for psychology, and he created great impact in the field of psychology, especially in Western culture, and that's why he is called as father of modern psychology. And Sigmund Freud passed in the year 1939. So this psychoanalytical theory is a very big topic, and I am going to cover just two topics in this psychoanalytical theory. And so we are just going to give an overview about psychoanalytical theory. Psychoanalytical theory talks about the philosophy of human. Who is human, what is he, why he is behaving like that. It's going to talk about the philosophy of human being, and it is basically both theory as well as it is an approach. So you can see it as a theory as well as you can see it as a therapy. It is two in one, and it emphasizes about the unconscious motivation. See, every psychology things talks about something, what it is happening now, that is what is happening in conscious mind. When it comes to psychoanalytical theory, Sigmund Freud concentrates mostly on unconscious, and he believes that our personality is basically based on this unconscious mind. And the assumption of psychoanalytical theory is our unconscious factors motivates our behavior, and especially he says that the first 6 years of our life decides our personality and behavior, and our later personality problem will have its roots on early repressed childhood conflicts. So the two topics which I am going to cover under psychoanalytical theory is first topographical model, and next will be the structure of personality. Talking about the topographical model, it has three layers. See, you can see this picture. This picture is nothing but it is an iceberg in the sea. See, imagine there is a Titanic ship here. So the ship will be in a very small size, and this is ship will be in a very small size here somewhere, and this is the iceberg. So imagine how big the iceberg is. So the upper part which is visible for us is our conscious mind. This water level is called the preconscious, or otherwise it is called as subconscious mind, and the other part, the iceberg which is under the water which we cannot see, is nothing but unconscious mind. Now talking about the conscious mind is what is happening now. You are aware of what is happening around you. You can verbalize what is happening around you. For example, I am here taking class today, but still I can hear some footstep outside, so I can clearly tell that somebody is walking outside, but still I am concentrating here and I am taking class here. Even when I was taking class in my department, my department is located very near to the roadside. Frequently when I take class, we used to hear some horn sound, we used to hear some bell sound, we used to hear so many people talking here and there, but still my concentration is only on taking class. But still, by hearing those sound, I can definitely recognize whether it is a sound of a bus or horn or somebody is talking, everything. So that is called conscious mind. What is happening now, what is happening around you, and things which you can verbalize is called conscious mind. Next comes the preconscious mind. This is a smaller part in our mind, and it is otherwise called as subconscious mind. To make it simple, something which you can recollect, something which you can bring to a memory. You won't be able to recall what happened 10 days back, but you can very well memorize and tell. Even now you can recite your primary school rhymes, your primary school like homework, everything all. So something which you can recollect. I won't be able to remember what I had for my breakfast 10 days before, but still I will be able to remember what I ate in a marriage function when I was studying 8th standard or 9th standard. So something which you can recollect, which you can bring to your mind, is called the preconscious mind or subconscious mind. Next comes the unconscious mind. As I have already mentioned in this page, our majority of the mind is unconscious mind, and what this unconscious mind says is that it is not directly accessible to your memory. You are not totally aware of what is happening, but your personality and your behavior is mainly based on this unconscious mind. For example, you know, some people, they used to behave very rude with others. You may wonder, even if you are very soft spoken, even if you are approaching them, even if you are helping them in every aspect, some people will be very rude, some people will be very hard. The reason is, they if you talk about their childhood, or if you heard about your childhood, you can understand they never had a happy childhood. So that actually in conscious mind, they won't be able to tell what happened in their childhood, but in unconscious mind they have all that fear, everything, and that will be reflected in their conscious mind. You can see here, like your thoughts, your anger, your pain, your feeling. Even Sigmund Freud says that we all have so many negative thoughts. Your anxiety, conflict, pain, this all will be reflected in your personality, but you are not directly aware of it. That is called unconscious mind. So this is a picture which represents about our topographical model. As I have already told you, the conscious level talks about the your present thoughts and what you perceive. That is, I hear the sound, if only by hearing the sound of the horn, I can very well recognize whether it is a horn of a bus or horn of a lorry. The same way, that is called perception, without experiencing percept in the absence of stimulus. Next comes the preconscious or subconscious mind. As I have already told you, something which you can bring to your memory, and your stored knowledge, like you will be able to, even though you are not using maths in everyday life, you are not sitting and working out maths, you can put some basic maths. And of course, as I have already told you, you can recitate the rhyme which was taught in your KGs. So something which you can recollect is called preconscious mind. And coming to unconscious mind, all your fears, your violent motives, your immoral urges, your selfish need, your irrational wishes, shameful experience, and unacceptable sexual desires. These all will be in your unconscious level. And of course, as it is in your unconscious level, you won't be directly aware of it, but consciously you will behave only based on this unconscious level. And Sigmund Freud says there is always the relationship between unconscious and unconscious level. That is why Sigmund Freud became very famous. And next topic in psychoanalytical theory is nothing but structure of personality. So how your personality is framed is nothing but structure of personality. Sigmund Freud says our structure of personality can be divided into three parts, namely id, ego, superego. So moving on to id, see, id is, we are born with it. That's what he says here, that every infant, that is, if a baby is born, you are born with it. And it is nothing but it operates on pleasure principle. For example, your baby is there, you are having a newborn baby, or if when you see a newborn baby, if the baby is hungry, what the baby will do? The baby will cry. If the baby is uncomfortable, what the baby will do? The baby will cry. If the baby urinates and if dress gets wet, what will we do? The baby will cry. The baby won't see for time, okay, mother was working the whole day and it is night 2 o'clock, even though I am hungry, I should not cry. No baby will think like that. So baby, if it is hungry, immediately it will cry. That is called pleasure principle. As well as if you take a 2 or 3 year old child to the shop, and if the child asks you a chocolate and if you refuse to buy it, what will the child do? The child will immediately cry, it will roll on the floor, it will shout, it will do anything. It will not worry about what people around her are thinking about her. Something, if the baby wants the chocolate, immediately the baby must get the chocolate. Otherwise, the baby will do everything which will disturb us, which will do anything. So this is called id. Id is nothing but pleasure principle. I don't worry about the consequences. If I want something, I want it immediately. That is called id. So it is driven by sexual and aggressive, and about sexual and aggressive it will be detailedly discussed in later topic, but today I am not going to talk about that. Next comes the ego. Actually, whenever we talk about ego, we have a different perspective about ego. But actually ego is, it is the rational level of personality. Sigmund Freud says that everyone should have ego. Only when there is a problem in ego, when your ego is unstable, the problem arises. For example, he says the ego operates on reality principle and it always do logical thinking. I can give you an example. If a child till 3 years old, the child will be at home, the child will be pampered. Even the mother want to be very strict with the baby. only the mother will be strict with the baby. There will be 10 or 15 members in the family will be there to pamper the kid, and whatever the baby wants, immediately it will be given. So that is the stage of 8, and the baby is not socialized. It does not have any social contact. At the age of 3 or 5, the baby used to go out to school, it go out and make friends with others. The baby will come in contact with other people in the world. At that time, this ego is developed. So the baby will understand, if I do mistake, I will be punished. At home, even if I do mistake, no one will punish me. Rather, I will be pampered. Whatever I ask, it will be immediately given. But in school, I cannot expect that. When I do a mistake, I will be warned, I will be punished. So this understanding comes only when the child comes in contact with the society. So at that time, the ego is developed. So it is based on the reality principle. And next comes the superego, and this superego is partially unconscious, and it operates on moral principle. This is right, this is wrong. The superego will always do what is right, and it will never do what is wrong. And it knows very well about what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong. And the people who follow superego, they will feel very much proud of them, and if they didn't follow it properly, they will feel so much guilty and they will feel very much anxious. For example, you can tell this as a policeman, or maybe some boss. Most of the boss will have this superego with them. Suppose I can give you an example, like there is a boss in the office, and suppose my family members or my relative is hospitalized. I need to leave to hospital to see my relative. When I go and ask permission from my boss explaining my situation, if my boss is a person with superego, he will first ask me to complete the work and then leave to see my relative. So that is superego, which is not, the boss will feel he is right, and even something happened to his own wife or to his own husband, he will not bother much, because he used to say, I am very job oriented, I should concentrate on my job, and that is right, and he feel very proud of it. And the same way he expect all his other workers to do so. So that is superego. So another example which I can give you for id, ego, superego is id. It always do like, I want to do that now, I want it immediately. That is what it will do. So, ego will say, maybe we can compromise. Okay, we cannot just rely on it, but we can compromise. And superego will do, okay, this is not right, we should not do. These are the 3 components. For example, I can tell that it is always in a form that it wants immediately. And the superego will tell, no, this is wrong, you should not do. And the role of ego is to compromise it without damaging the superego. There will be always a continuous conflict between this id and superego, and this ego will, the person in between, which will try to satisfy its need without damaging the superego. So another example is that, see, I am looking big, I am not a thin person. So a chocolate is in front of me, my id will say that, okay, you like chocolate, so you go and take the chocolate. My superego will tell, no, no, you are in a super diet, so you should not eat the chocolate. But the role of my ego is to satisfy its need without damaging the superego. So what my ego will tell, okay, you need chocolate, so you can eat a little piece of chocolate. Hope you understand. Thank you so much.